asked you to marry me, and then you just disappeared for 8 years.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode on The Real. As always, I remain your noble host, and my name is still Linda. So we need to call it a wrap for 2022. So what do I do every year? Every year I give you my top cinema movies and Netflix movies, and my kind of bottom two awards, to not really necessarily yours but mine, and then we call it a wrap for that year and we move on to the next year. So on that note, I will be saying in my next video, Happy New Year. So let's call it a wrap. I want us to talk about the best 2022 movies, Netflix and cinema, and then our awards. To stay with me this week, and let's call it a wrap for 2022. Welcome back everyone, so good to have you with me on the show. As always, we need to wrap up 2022, so I had to quickly try and see the movies that came out towards the end of the year. So you know how you have a lot of movies back to back at the end of the year, and then you just try to see them to see if they can make it into the last year before you move into the new year. Okay, so in no particular order really, the kind of movies that I really enjoyed and I loved last year in the cinema, of course, let's start from the beginning of the year towards the end. Number one was Top Gun. Top Gun was an American movie, action-packed movie. It was really so nice and I enjoyed it. Next on my list was Black Light. It was also an action movie in the cinema. Was really good. If you remember, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that was another nice movie. Kind of confusing, but I liked it. I'm a great fan. We move on to Bullet Train. Bullet Train was another exciting movie, taking you flashbacks back and forth. It was really interesting and it was nice for me. Gray Man. So Gray Man made it into the cinema and into the Netflix. So I'll probably just put it here in the cinema and say Gray Man was really good for me. Action-packed movie. I scored it 8.5 and it was really nice. Next on my list, I also liked some, so I'm going to put them as the bonus or the top, like, you know, saying a bonus too. So let's talk about the Thor movie. It was nice for me, so I'm going to give it as my bonus. And of course, Wakanda Forever. Some people had some mixed feelings with Wakanda. I'm a great fan, and I know that I just have to put it as one of the top movies for 2022. I just can't help it. I'm a fan of Wakanda. Let's look at the Nollywood movies that I really loved that were in the cinema. So Anikulapo was another movie that was in the cinema and on Netflix at almost simultaneously. It was really good and I totally enjoyed it. The story of how you can become so proud and arrogant and lose everything. A lot. It taught me loads of lessons and I'm very careful now. Of course, it wouldn't be complete without brotherhood. I absolutely loved the story. Toby found the bad guy and the action pack that they did. It was awesome. Blending of him falling on the bridge to Third Mainland, on the Third Mainland bridge into the water. They tried. It was good. I give it up for brotherhood. Towards the end of the year, we also had some good movies, and I know that a lot of people have mixed feelings with Funke Akindele and her storylines, but it was nice. There were loads of lessons from Buka on the Street. Buka on the Street was absolutely fantastic, and it just taught me a lot of lessons, how people just fight and struggle over things that they shouldn't. And life is more than that, but it was a good one, and I will say it made it to my list. I didn't really have loads of bad movies, and sometimes with the bad movies, you can't even remember all at the end of the year because you're so angry. But one movie that was kind of skeptical for me was Ajakumo. It was kind of good, but then I felt like it could have done better if not for the end that almost ruined it. That only would be my worst for last year, but it was okay, but just didn't make it to the tops for me. Let's quickly run into Netflix movies. Netflix had loads of movies. I loved Ava. It was an action-packed movie and it was fantastic back to back. I scored it a 9/10 then. Of course, we had the series Is It Cake was really good, was okay. I will make it into my bonus. Silverton Surge was good. The South African movie, I absolutely loved it. You Don't Know Me was another series, like Is It Cake series, so I will put it as my bonus. Wedding Season was good. Purple Heart and Loving Adults. The action movie, it was a drama movie. I talked about a couple that was cheating and they just had to get rid of. If you haven't seen Loving Adults, I don't tell the story too much, please go and see it. It was amazing on Netflix. Okay, so some of the movies that I actually watched and I didn't really like and I didn't really feel for Netflix. I didn't like Restless. It was just so complicated. Beckett was another one that didn't score well for me. For the Nollywood ones, One Lagos didn't really make it. Spiderhead wasn't so nice. End of the Road and Under Her Control, those movies scored between 5 and 6, and for me, I just felt they could do better. Okay, so Man of God was another okay movie for me. I scored a 6.5. I felt it have done better. I liked the story and some of the things it taught, but it was just not there. Man of God was okay for me, so I'll just put it in between 6 and 7. It was good. For the movies that I didn't really like at all on Netflix, I just felt like maybe the storyline was for me and it wasn't so good. Although a lot of people liked it, My Village People was just so basic for me. Aki and Papa was just so basic for me. I just felt like, they could do more. And Man from Toronto, there was just something not really nice about it. It just didn't cut it for me. Maybe some people liked it, but it just didn't cut it for me. So yeah, I think I have touched really on all my best cinema movies and worst cinema movies and Netflix, so you can just do a replay and then listen. For the ones you haven't seen, go check them out, and the ones that you have seen, let's know what you think. Was this your list, or did you have a different list from mine? I'm gonna call it a wrap. Thank you so much for always watching and following us. We are growing gently, but we will get there. As always, I will plead that you do follow across our social media handle at MyMovieViewNG on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Leave us a comment of 2. We really can't be complete without you. You make this really interesting. Every week, back to back, just bringing you tips is my job, and it has been exciting for 2022. I'm gonna draw the curtain here for 2022 and say thank you for always watching. Let's do this again in 2023. On that note, I say Happy New Year and see you in the next video.
I came from the exact same streets.